Hey, how y'all doing? It's Code Beats, day 9, and we're going to get started at 2 p.m., just like we always do. Until then, I hope you enjoy some beats, and I hope you're getting pumped for Friday. All right, check it out.
Walk it, talk it. Let's go. Walk it, whoop. Hey, walk it.
All right. Hope y'all are doing well. Remember, tomorrow is going to be the Beats competition. That's going to be online and in person. I want to share with y'all just one little thing that might bring you some amusement today. We're starting to get in some of the things that are going to be there tomorrow. And I want to share with you this. Check it out. We have the t-shirts in our possession. The Doug t-shirts, Coding with Doug, Virtual Camp 21, Code Beats. Here it is with Doug. A t-shirt of Doug with Doug. Amazing, I must say. If I hadn't seen it myself, I wouldn't believe it. Anyway, we're going to have a fun time tomorrow, whether you're online or in person. Hope you join us. We're going to start at 2. Until then, enjoy the beats.
Won't be expecting when Capo go to slide, cause I told him that we put.
All right. Hope y'all are doing well. For those of you that just joined a second ago, I want to show you that we are getting all prepared for tomorrow's Code Beats competition. Here you can see Doug with a t-shirt featuring Doug. We're starting to get all the supplies in for tomorrow's competition. Whether you're joining us in person or virtually, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to start in just a couple minutes. Until then, enjoy the beats. And guess what? This beat is made completely by computers. Check it out. welcome to Code Beats. It's day 9. I hope y'all are doing great. We are gonna go ahead and get started for today. Here we go. Code Beats, day 9.
For the memory computing over, know you had to get that class right, fast right, and did pretty fast right. Know that David's mad tight, and he made his math right. Beats inside the lab, white clothing, hidden dabs, computing with the trends and the other trendy fads. Ones and all the O's, always coming last. One little glass that holds up a brain, knowing Siri knows my name with this coded modded flame. Now it's really such a shame that we had to end the code, but we had to change the mode just to get inside the range. Sipping Java with the bros, cause I'm eating on the beat, and that beat was made with code, and the beat was made with code, and the beat was made with code.
All right, that's right. The beat was made with code. That is the kind of the theme of Code Beats. As y'all know, we like to start it out, get y'all logged into Minty with a little bit of Finish That Line. Today's coming at you from Jack Harlow. It's a little bit a topical one, maybe related to some news you might have heard. That's a great one, a great song. Jack Harlow, I would argue, is one of the best lyricists out there right now, active right now. Really puts in the time on writing. Anyway, check it out. Here we go. We're going to finish that line. You know what that means. I came home nice, but I'm going back mean. How does it finish? I made that nice. Don't know about mean. I'm about to globetrot when they know a vaccine. Big bills, and I don't know what to throw it on. You know what that means. I came home nice, but I'm going back mean. How does it finish? Take a guess. If you don't know, take a guess. We're going to go ahead and get started today. I'll give you all a few more seconds to get your votes in. Let's see if you think it's big bills and I don't know what to throw it on, or whether I'm about to globetrot when they know a vaccine, or I made that nice, don't know about mean. What do you think? What do you think? All right, and the correct answer is about to globetrot when they know a vaccine, and they do know a vaccine, as you know. Check it out. It's Jack Harlow's Tyler Hero. Let's listen to it in context.
Exactly, but they know exactly what's going on. Made a pill and I don't know where to blow it on. Shut up like my shoes on. Give it parents ain't perfect, they don't know what's going on. You're well dressed, but you ain't got soul. I got a few songs I can sell you. Nah, boy. Like a color, cool.
All right, Tyler Hero by Jack Harlow. Some pretty good lyrics in there. Now, today is the last day of instruction. Remember, we got 2 classes today. We got this one right here at 2, and then we got another one at 4. But today is really your last day of instruction. So this is the last day to kind of get right in your head what makes a good beat. And the things, this class has done really well on the coding. I'm really proud of y'all, what you have been doing on the coding. But I want y'all to continue to push yourselves on the music side of things, okay? But because the person that's going to win or be in the top 10 is going to be somebody that has great coding skills, or, you know, good solid coding skills, but also understands the basics of the music, only the things that we've been teaching, and is able to, you know, make a good sounding beat. So anyway, listen to Decoding the Beat today, extra careful, because he's going to be going over some things that are going to help your beat sound even better. Here we go. Take it away. Decoding the Beat.
Hi y'all, this is Taylor Barnett from VC Music with another music lesson for you. Today I'll be showing you the basic elements of a drum groove, and I'll also introduce you to the musical names for the most common rhythmic values, and how they relate to the fractions and decimals you've been using to code them. So one of the defining things about hip-hop is the underlying drum beat. and there are aspects of the beat that are consistent from song to song, even within such a broad genre that has tons of variety. There are 3 basic layers to the drum groove, and they are the bass drum, the snare drum, or hand claps, or some other high and short drum sound, and the hi-hat. The easiest way to determine what the defining elements of the beat are is to listen to 2 different songs and then identify what's the same between them. So, let's listen to 2 pieces we've worked with in a previous lesson, Still Dre and Humble. First, Still Dre. And now, Humble. When we look at the rhythms of the various layers of the groove, what we see is that they both have a bass drum hit on beat 1 and a snare drum hit on beats 2 and 4, which we call a backbeat. This creates that boom, bap that's common to basically all hip-hop and, in fact, most rock and pop and R&B music too. For the rest of the measure, the 2 drum beats are quite different from each other. Still Dre is more active on the bass drum in the first half of the measure, on beats 1 and 2, while Humble has more bass drum activity in the second half of the bar, on beats 3 and 4. The other really big difference between the 2 is in the hi-hat. Still Dre has a consistent rhythm of 0.5, and Humble has a faster and more inconsistent rhythm, which is characteristic of trap. It's also time, I think, for you to learn the common musical names for the various rhythmic values, since many of you may have heard at least some of them before, and also because their names can actually be a little misleading. So the time signature for just about all hip-hop is 4/4, or sometimes called common time. This means that there are 4 beats in each measure, which is the basic repeating pattern of stressed and unstressed beats. The note that fills up a whole measure is called the whole note, which is 4 beats long. And all the other rhythms derive their name from their proportional relationship to the whole note. So, the half note lasts for 2 beats, which is half a whole note, and the quarter note lasts for 1 beat, 1/4 of a whole note. Now, this might be a little different than what you've been thinking about it, since the beat is so fundamental to the groove, yet the name for the note value of a beat is actually related to the length of the measure, not vice versa. So a quarter note would be coded as a 1, not as a 0.25. To get the names of the notes faster than the beat, we would continue to cut the whole note into smaller bits. So the 8th note is half of a beat, 0.5, and the 16th note is 1/4 of a beat, or 0.25. Now, those really, really fast notes on the hi-hat that you hear in a lot of trap beats are even smaller subdivisions of the beat, such as 1/8 of the beat, or 0.125, are called 32nd notes, since 32 of them fit in the whole note. And finally, 1/16 of a beat, or 0.0625, are called 64th notes, since 64 of them fit in the whole note. I'd suggest that when you're playing around with these super fast notes on the hi-hat, that when you change the rhythmic value, you do it on the beat. It'll be a little easier to keep track of how far into the measure you are if you do things kind of 1 beat at a time. And also, that's often how it's done on recordings anyway. So, have fun, and remember, when you're building the drum groove, most important thing is to have the bass drum hit on beat 1, and the snare or hand claps or something like that on beats 2 and 4. Other than that, you can add other bass drum hits if you want later in the measure. You can also go crazy in the hi-hat because there's usually a lot of freedom there. And remember that the musical terms for the note lengths are related to the whole note, not the beat. All right, y'all, have fun.
All right, thanks Taylor for getting us a little bit more into what it takes to make a drum groove. So, the basic layers of the drum groove are bass drum, snare drum, and hi-hat. The bass drum needs to hit on beat 1. Snare needs to hit on 2 and 4. Dunk, jack, jack, dunk, jack, jack. Okay? You can go crazy on that hi-hat. Go crazy. Do whatever you want on the hi-hat. That one's for like spice, okay? But you want to do that basic. Chack, boom, chack, chack. Now, Why does the snare hit on the 2? Why does the snare hit on the 2? There's a really famous and funny video about the difference between white people and black people clapping. If you think about like banjo music, like think about bow 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 bow. People clap on the, they clap on the beat. However, if you think about some really funky groove, like, Snoop Doggy Dogg 1. So if you clap on the 1, it sounds really white and like a marching band or like a banjo. It's really weird. You don't want to do that. If you clap on the 2 and the 4, it's like on the upbeat. It sounds, like a groove. It sounds good. That's what you want to do. Never put the snare on the 1 unless you want to sound like a marching band or something, or like bluegrass music or something. And there's a really funny video on YouTube. You should check it out, about white people versus black people clapping, and they have a really good illustration. Check it out, just to get an idea of what the different feels of these two different types of drum grooves are. All right, enough about that. Hip hop time signature, as you know, is always going to be 4/4. 4 beats in a measure. A whole note is 4 beats long. A quarter note is 1 beat long. Eighth note is 0.5 of a beat, and a 16th note is 0.25 of a beat. You can go smaller than 0.25, but maybe you don't need to, or maybe you don't need to do a lot of that. Okay, that's the basics of hip hop time. Hip hop time is very simple on the surface, meaning there's only 4 beats per measure, and these are the basic subdivisions. Now, rhythmically, hip hop is super complicated in a lot of ways. They do a lot of hitting just before or after the beats, but we're not going to go into that. Like small variations that you're going to hear in professional recordings. We want to kind of just follow these rules, hit on the 0.5 and 0.25. Now, as you know, you're going to get 2 times Doug today, but this is your first sample of Doug for the day. Take it away, Doug, with today's Coding with Doug.
Hello everyone, welcome to Coding with Doug at Code Beats. Today we are going to create a drum track where we are using 2 separated tracks, one with kick and another one with snare. We have here for the snare track, we are playing the snare 2 times using command play note, and we are doing that for 1 beat. Also, we are using the command rest to add 1 beat here before the snare and another beat between both snare that we are using here. And for kick, we are using 3 times the command play note, each time during 0.5 beats, and also the command rest. First with 0.25 beats and then with 1.25 beats. Let's listen each track individually. Now the snare track. If we look these 2 tracks individually, it's kind of boring, isn't it? So we can listen both tracks together using our timeline. Let's do that. It's a little bit better, but we can add here a hi-hat, for instance. So let's do that. Let's add a new instrument, drums, and we can name it as hi-hat. And let's create a variable with MIDI number 4. So we have here the variable hi-hat or constant with number 4. And here we can use repetition with lists. But instead of using this list with constant or MIDI number, we can use it for the parameter beats. So let's call the list tempo. And initially we can have with value 1, 4 times the value 1. 1, 1, 1, and 1. So we can create here the repetition for T in tempo and use the command play note for the constant hi-hat and beats equal to t, where each time that we are executing here, or each iteration of these four, we are retrieving for list tempo here, and first value 1, first position, second position, third position, and fourth position. So we are hitting the hi-hat for 4 times. And also we can add here in our timeline, add timeline, use the option fill right here, and we can play together the 3 tracks that we have. A little bit better, but we can do even better, just changing here the list that we have with tempo. So let's do that for 0.25, 0.25, and we can use different here, 0.125, and again 0.125. Now we have 1 point, or better, we have 0.75 here beats, so we can complete here using 0.25. 25, 25, and one more time. So now we have one more, and we are using that for 2 beats. So let's check how it is now. Better, but we can complete here more 2 beats, and we can use repetition again. So for I in range, so now we can use a numerical range from 0 to 2. So we are going to repeat twice, but what are we going to repeat? This repetition. So we can have a repetition inside a repetition. So this repetition we are going to repeat twice, and this one we are going to repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times that we are using this list, the list for tempo. Now let's check how it is our track. And here we are using modularization, where each track can be considered as a module. So in computer programming, we have this kind of modularization where each part of a computer program is called module, and we can maintain and we can write it in small parts, and when we put these together it makes more sense. So we can create parts of our program and put it together. The same here with this drum track, where we have created here 3 individual tracks that they are kind of boring when we are playing it alone, but when we put tracks together, they are more nice to listen to. So that's it for today. Thank you. See you in the next time.
All right. Thanks, Doug, for giving us that insight into modularization. So what he's talking about there is if you wrote all of those tracks in one code box, it would get really complicated, okay? However, if you write just the snare drum in one code box, just the bass drum in another code box, just the chords in another code box, and so on, each track becomes really simple to write. It's better to maintain, it's easier to reuse, it's easier to understand. So that's what we want you to do when you're creating your own tracks. Don't write it all in the same code box. One track, like one instrument per code box. So that's a tip for keeping your code clean, and that's a lot like what we would call modularization, or kind of organizing your code in a good way in regular coding. Now, today we have a very special survey. This is the survey of the class that we want y'all to do, and I'm putting it right there in the chat. I want everybody to click on it and start filling it out. So everybody click on it and start filling it out, and I think I have a special guest that wants to talk to you about this survey.
Hey you all, if you were wondering where I went, so I'm here live today in the Dave's room, here streaming to you. So I would like to ask you to answer this survey. This survey is very important for me do it for joke, but do it honestly. So answer that as you are feeling how Code Beats was for you, okay? So take your time. Let me start here the clock. We have 5 minutes, but if you need more time, it's okay. You can do that in your time here. So do that for me, please. It's very important for me, for my research, my PhD degree, that I can stay here for for 10 more years, as Dave said. But I would like to finish that in 2 more years or so. So thank you for being part of CodeBeats. You are amazing. So for those that are coming tomorrow in your contest, here I have a dog t-shirt with me. So for the winners, they may have some t-shirts tomorrow. So thank you and see you tomorrow. We have more code beats today, huh? See you.
Got about 4 more minutes. Fill out that survey. About 2 minutes left. All right, come on back, everybody, come on back. Time's up. We're gonna go ahead and move on now. If you need to, of course, take your time to finish that. That is a very important survey for the class. That is pretty much the main survey of the class, so we do need you to fill that out. Now we're moving on to commenting your code. Commenting your code is a way to add documentation in your code. Comments are just basically lines in your code that are not executed, okay? They're lines in your code that are not executed. So you can write little notes to yourselves and things like that. In TunePad, if you put a hashtag or before the line, then you can write whatever you want, and that line is considered a comment. So you can say, hash, hey, how's it going? And that will just be a comment in your code. You could also use triple quotes, and that is the starting of a comment, and then you could have multi-line comments, and then they don't stop until you have another triple quote. So there's two different ways you can comment your code. Okay, so let's look at an example of this together. Hold on a sec, let me pull it up right here. And we're gonna do this first example together, how we add comments in the code, and then y'all are gonna do it yourself. I'm gonna, of course, hit Remix in TunePad first. And here we go. Go to the first melody, go first to the melody, second to the second track, and third to the third track. So I'm gonna start at the first track, see what it tells me to do. And it says, read the code and add a comment where a measure starts. So, for instance, I know nothing has executed here. So this must be the start of measure measure 1. Okay? And then I know, can anybody tell me between what two lines should measure 2 start? Between what two lines does measure 2 start? Let me know between what two lines. Hit it in the chat. Should measure 2 start? So between what two lines does measure 2 start? Hit me up in the chat if you know. Starting to see some answers. Let's see if we can get a few more of y'all to take some guesses before I let you know. Anybody else got some guesses? All right, great guesses. They are, so this one is worth 2 beats. This one is worth 1 beat. And this one is worth another beat. So that is a total of 4 beats. So it's actually right here between 21 and 22. Each measure is 4 beats. That's where measure 2 starts. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing tricky here. This is where measure 3 starts. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where measure 4 starts. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where measure 5 starts. And let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where measure 6 starts. And 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where measure 7 starts. And then 3, 4. This is where measure 8 starts. And I'm done. Okay? So that's what you're going to be doing. And then let's look at track 2. And it says, put in comments where the measures start. All right, so I'll do the first one. Oops. Measure 1. Between what two lines should I put measure 2? Between what two lines should I put measure 2? Let me know in the chat. Get your guesses out there. I see at least one guess. All right, good guesses, y'all. Good guesses. All right, because this first note is 4 beats long, then it's actually between 18 and 19. That's where measure 2 starts. Because this second beat is held out for 4 beats, then that's where measure 3 starts. Now, the next one is the same way. Measure 4. But now each of these is 2. So then we jump down here to 5. And then that's another 4. So that takes up the whole measure. And then we got another pair of 2s. That takes up the measure. And another 4. And then we are done. All right, y'all see how that works? There we go. Now let's do one more. And this one says, read the code and add a comment telling how many measure this tracks has. Who can tell me how many times this line of code right here, how many times is this line of code executed? How many times is this line of code executed? Let me know in the chat. I'll give y'all a second. Yo, 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 yo. All right, I'm seeing some guesses there. Get a couple more guesses before I tell y'all the answer. All right, some people are having some problems with the internet, but anyway, this line of code is going to happen 8 times because it's from range 0 to 8. And because it's half a beat and it happens 8 times, that's a total of 4 beats. And that means it is 1 measure. Okay, this is 1 measure long. All right, so that's the example. That's what you got to do. I just walked you through that one, most of you, unless you missed it. And then it's your turn. Here is the beat. Play it together first. That sounds good. All right, and remember, y'all got to hit remix and do it, follow the directions just like I did just there. And we will give you 5 minutes, and we are back in just 5 minutes. Go, 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 go. Code Beats. Can you put the link out there for that? Actually, I didn't copy it yet. Doug, can you put the link out there for that? There you go. Code Beats 9A. Get out there. You got 5 minutes. Make it happen, and put any questions that you have in the chat. Go, 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 go. Got about 2 minutes left. All right, come on back. Come on back. Let's look at it together. Come on back. Think y'all can do this one, but let's look at it together. I've already remixed it. Here we go. Number 1. Add a comment where a pair of measures start. Okay, so I'm going to start here. Measure 1. And then I'm going to look for 8 beats later, which is 2 measures later. So that is 1.5. That's 3. That is 4.5. That's 6. 7, 8. That's the end of 8 beats. So I would put measure 3 starts here. And then similarly, 3, 6, and then 7, 8. And then that would be the end right there. All right, so that's not so hard. Do the same thing where measure 1 and 2 start. All right, so here we go. Measure 1, and then 3, 3, 2 is 8. And measure 3, 3, 3, 2 is 8. Boom. And then we got to say how many measures this has. Oh, this is complicated. 8 times 0.5 is 4. 2 times 0.25 is 0.5. Plus 0.5 is 1. 6 times 0.5 is 3. So this, I'm good. This is 4, and this is 4. So this has 2 measures in it. 2 measures. Boom, man. That was kind of tough, Doug. All right, cool. What did y'all think about that activity? Let me know what you think about it. Whether you loved it, hated it, loathed it. Thought it was excellent. Hard as heck, easy as possible. Let me know what you think. Tell me your opinion about the last activity. We have over 40 people on the stream, so I'm expecting some answers here. Remember, we got 2 classes today to get you all through, so don't go too far from the computer after this, because we are at 4 o'clock going to do another class, bonus class for you to make sure that you're all ready to make that beat and turn it in by tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the absolute latest. 11 a.m. at the absolute latest. We want to make sure y'all have all the time you need to make your beat for the competition or the exhibition. So let us know what you think about this activity. I'll give you just a few more seconds. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Thank you, guys. Gals. How much did you like the music today? Did you love it? Hate it? Let me know. Really liked. Some people really liked it. I liked it. Somebody's asking in the chat, do we have to go to the 4 p.m. class? No, you don't have to go to any class. The 4 p.m. class is just another, the final Code Beats class before the competition. It's good if you want some extra help. It's good you'll learn a few new things, but if you want to spend your time working on your beat instead, that is okay too. We really just want you to get in those beats by 11 a.m. tomorrow. So whichever you think would help you more. If you think learning a little bit more would help you, or if you think just spending that time working on your beats would help you, I leave it up to you. Y'all are mature young adults, and you can make your own decision on that. You can tell your parents I said that. All right. Now, we talked a little bit about modularity, which is really just splitting things into tracks, but I want to break it down and make it clear what that is. So let's talk about modularity. Here we go.
Modularity is the extent to which a program can be broken down into smaller parts. Modular programming is the act of separating code into simpler sections. Say we are baking a cake in the kitchen. We only need to use 3 items, or modules: the mixer, the oven, and the timer. Each module has a single task to complete: to mix, bake, or to count down the time. Each module has no effect on the other. First, you would use the mixer to combine the ingredients. Then you would use the oven to bake the ingredients. And the timer will let you know when the cake is done. Out of all the things in the kitchen, we only had to use these 3 to bake a cake. The idea is that you can combine any number of other modules to make rice, or cook a turkey, or anything else. In the same way, you can break up a program into smaller modules, then mix and match them to suit a specific task. Picture a program on TunePad. Notice how the song is broken up into tracks. These would be the modules. Individually, these modules may be boring and only have one instrument or play a simple beat. But if you combine them in certain ways, then you get the masterpieces you hear on the radio. Modular programming has 3 main advantages. It's easier to read and access small sections than search through the entire program. You can reuse parts of the code in different programs without having to rewrite the entire thing. It's easier to maintain small sections than the entire program. Have fun coding!
All right, so hopefully y'all figured out modularity and what it's all about. We're really just talking about breaking things down into tracks, all right? That is something that you're going to need to understand for making your own beats, and you're going to want to, one track is one instrument. All right, for the contest and exhibition, if you're going to come in person, the link is right there, and I guess I'll put that right in the chat too. The link is right there. There it is also in the chat. Make sure you RSVP to let us know if we need to order more pizza or whatever. Remember, it's also going to be streaming online. In-person event starts at 6. Online event starts at 7. Okay? The after-class activity for today got a really cool beat. It is make your own beat for the contest or exhibition. Okay? We have given you those sketches, several times. I know Doug will put those in the chat again in case you need them. You have until tomorrow at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. to submit those. Do not be late. Okay? We have to have them by 11 a.m. You submit them right there in the submission form. Okay? So just make sure that you submit them. And try and be creative and do something, that sounds great, like a hip hop beat, but, is also creative and fun. We really enjoy this part of class. It's fun to see how much y'all have learned and how creative y'all can be. Okay. One thing that's important is how to share your beat, because we haven't really had to do this during class because we haven't been collecting the homeworks, but we do want y'all to understand how to share your beat. So listen up in this quick bonus Doug segment, how to share your beat.
Hello everyone, I am back to show you how to share your beat for our contest. So if you are going to use one sketch that we are going to provide you, you must hit Remixing TunePad, use your username and password. Then you can create new tracks for this beat or even change the existing tracks that we have here. When you are done with your beat, you must click on Share Project. Click at Share this project with other TunePad users. It's going to generate a link. You have to copy this link, close here, and use the form that we are providing to you to share your beat. So here I'm going to use this form. The form is in the sketch, but we are going to provide you a link also. You must inform your first name, your last name, and a nickname that we can use during the contest. Here, you must inform the link that you generated in TunePad. So you must paste here, inform that you are going to participate on the contest or exhibition only. It's up to you. So that's it. I see you during our contest. See you.
All right, thanks, Doug. So that's how to submit, and I want you to know that the reason that we have that video is because I bet you tomorrow I'm going to get a bunch of emails like, how do you submit? That's how you submit. Make sure you share your beat. Share your beat. That's on the left-hand side, kind of near the remix button. Send us that link, okay? That's how you share it. That's why we have that video, so just so you know. That's why we have the video. Now, attention! Tomorrow, we do not have class. Tomorrow, we do not have class. There is one more class today. It is at 4 p.m., okay? So just a little change from what you might have been expecting. Tomorrow, we don't have class. We do have the competition tomorrow at 7. Again, doors open at 6 here locally, pizza and stuff, and hanging out and trying all the VR and stuff. And then right at 7, we start streaming online. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, remember to use the same name as yesterday, and we are at that time. It is quiz time. Get in there. All right, I hope you all have had time to go ahead there and get logged in. We're going to go ahead and get started. Here we go. Answer fast to get more points. Let's see if Lukey wins again. Why use modules in computer programming? Why use modules in computer programming? Is it better to understand the code? Is it less lines in a program? Is it better to maintain the code? Or is it more complicated? What do you think? That's right. Better to understand the code and better to maintain the code. All right. Lots of familiar faces up here. Great work. Anna, the first time I've seen Anna up there, I think. Excellent work, Anna. Question 2 of 5. What are the drum layers in hip hop? What are the different drum layers in hip hop commonly? Is it variable, constant, and function? Is it piano, strings, and brass? Is it chords, melody, and rhythm? Or is it bass, snare, and hi-hat? What do you think? What are the drum layers in hip-hop, the most common drum layers? Is it variable, constant, and function? Piano, string, and bass, chords, melody, and rhythm, or bass, snare, and hi-hat? There you go, bass, snare, and hi-hat. Y'all are on it today. Very, very good. Excellent. Uh-oh, Lukey's taking the lead again. That guy's good at quizzes. Question 3 of 5. Here we go. Can I use a repetition inside another repetition? And what is it called? Can I use a repetition inside of another repetition? And what is it called? What? No way! Yes, it's called nested repetitions. Yes, it's called a layer. Yes, it's called functions. What do you think? All right, most of y'all know that that is called nested repetitions. Nested loops would also be correct. Lots of good answers up here. Oops. And next up, question 4 or 5. 16th note is equal to what of a beat? 16th note is equal to what of a beat? A 0.5 of a beat, a 0.125 of a beat, a 0.25 of a beat, or a 0.16 of a beat. This is a little tricky. Remember, the name 16th note doesn't make a ton of sense. Just keep that in mind. That's right. 0.25 is 1/16 of a beat. Is a 16th note. 0.25 is a 16th note. It is 1/16 of a measure. That even tricked me. It's tough. That was tough, guys. That was a dirty one, Doug. Question 5 of 5. It all comes down to this. Answer fast to get more points. In hip hop, usually we have bass on beat 2 and snare on beat 1 and 3, bass on beat 1 and snare on beat 2 and 4, snare on beat 1 and bass on beat 2 and 4, or hi-hat on beat 1 and snare on beat 3. Think about Billie Jean. Think about really any hip hop song that you've heard lately. What does it sound like? And many of you know that that bass hits on 1, but the snare hits on 2 and 4. Snare hits kind of on the offbeat. Unfortunately for y'all, I think Lukey knew that. And it looks like we have another Lukey win. Way to go, Lukey. Also, way to go, Tess, Queen Jane, Cerebus, Bob, Kitty, Athena, Evan, Nicholas M, and Tori. Great work to all of y'all. Very nice work. Y'all are a pleasure to teach. All right. Remember, there is no session today, no help session today, but there is a focus group. Some of you might have gotten contacted to join a focus group, and there is the focus group link. The focus group is run by our colleagues at University of Delaware. They will basically, y'all will be giving them cutting edge feedback on what you think about code beats. Again, it's kind of like trying out a new toy and then telling people what you think about the new toy. That's kind of what y'all would be doing. It's fun. You get to talk with researchers, which are kind of interesting people. So I'd encourage you to check it out, especially if you were invited via email. I hope you'll join. Even if you weren't invited, you are definitely allowed to join this focus group. That's going to be today at 5. All right. Now, If you have any questions, remember you can email at the email address that Doug had put out, or you can try and put some questions in the chat here. Otherwise, I will see y'all later, and by later, I mean 4 p.m. Later.
For the memory of a lifetime. Computing over, know you had to get that class right, fast right, and did pretty fast right. Know that Davis mad tight, and he made his math right. Beats inside the lab, white clothing, hidden dabs, computing with the trends and the other trendy fads. Ones and all the O's, always coming last. One little glass that holds up a brain, knowing Siri knows my name with this coded modded flame. Now it's